see here.
And down to the wire. Happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome to
Happy
TBI
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes. Welcome, where we just talk about or discuss TBI with traumatic brain injury, what it's like, and ish.
Yeah, ish.
Brain. Yep. So,
So,
want to take it away, Paul?
yeah, I love Pinterest.
Of course.
Right, I find all kind of stuff on Pinterest, and I like it because you can neatly organize by groups and things. Can you not hear me?
I'm just trying. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. That was not a Verizon plug, by the way.
What?
But anyway,
Yeah,
so
don't go away from that.
don't go away from this. Okay, so I'll just look straight ahead like this.
Well,
No?
Ish, you can look at the camera.
Oh, so I'll look at the camera. All right, so I thought, okay, I'll do a Pinterest, because you can search for anything, and it has never occurred to me, just search traumatic brain injury, see what comes up. Okay, I went away again. I'm sorry. So I just found some quotes that people with brain injuries have said, and I was going to read those, get your reaction. Maybe we could discuss it.
Yeah,
And
I was
then,
about to say this is a live reaction, so I have not heard these or seen these before.
correctamundo.
So I'm kind of scared.
Don't be scared. Okay, so you ready?
Yep.
All right. The thought of normal,
Yeah.
okay, is something we fear, we being TBI patients.
We being TBI patients, yes.
I'm not finished. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay.
Well,
The thought of normal is something we fear we may never experience again. We mourn the loss of self, and what others take for granted every day. Your thoughts.
are you done? No. That is actually, oh man. I'm like gonna try to cut it off down because I'm like, I could talk for hours on this. I'm like, even just, what do you call it? 2 days ago, I think, I told you how I was so mad at myself because this cool guy, Guru, he moved to Atlanta from San Francisco in, what did I say, back in May or?
July, I think.
July. I had this conversation with him in July on Facebook Messenger, and something came up on Facebook. They did something, and I was like, oh, no way, you're in Atlanta now? Now it is, October 19th, and I didn't know.
So in July, you found out he was in Atlanta.
Yes.
And then another message of some sort came up on Facebook that he was in, and you said, oh my gosh, you're in Atlanta.
Correct.
As if it was brand new
Yes.
to you. And that bothered you. Why?
Bothered me in so many ways. I'm like, well, people say, oh yeah, I'm losing my mind. Like, there's that, but I'm like, I felt like a jerk. I'm like, he's a good guy, and I'm like excited, but then I'm like, I totally must have spaced or didn't remember. I'm like, how could I do that? I feel like such a jerk. And I'm like, we had not just, I saw a post, but we had a conversation in July.
Okay, so since July, has anything happened in our lives?
Not really.
Really? We've not lived. We've not. I mean, I think life gets in the way of everything, regardless of what you can consider memory issues or not, people forget stuff. You say all the time, not you specifically, but you in the broad sense, hey, let's get together sometime, and then it's out of your mind. I think some things are just easy to forget. In today's world, we're so inundated with so much information that I think just anybody, regardless of what your status is, I think your brain sorts what you need right then and now to get through each and every day. Is being in Atlanta not such an important thing right now for you?
Well, once again, I will say you are so kind. Like, to me, I mean, yes, I would say that to someone else. They're in lies from, but I'm like, what? So, and granted, I will say I used to be very good about memory. I would remember things. I was on it, like, and I was like, I just felt like a jerk. Like, oh, we talked about this. Like, how could I have totally spaced on this?
Well, I mean, and it's like I just said, I don't think it's a matter of spacing out on it. I've had people that I've made contact with through social media and say, hey, I'll hit you up in a couple of weeks. Let's try to get together, and I forget.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me personally, what I have to do is, normal everyday things that I do, I don't forget because it's just a routine, a rut that I have. But if it's like I talk to Sally and I say, hey, I'll call you in a couple of weeks, I put it on my calendar because I know I'm not going to remember. And it has no reflection on how I feel about Sally. It's just, I know I'll forget.
See, that is good. That's what I need to do.
And that's just it. And you got so upset. What was it? Sunday I was out cutting grass and you came out and you asked me about, I forgot what the question was, but it was something about your memory. See, I don't remember. Yeah. And I know it was important to you. And I answered it truthfully. And then you were really down on yourself the rest of the day. Yeah. And I made a comment to you then and there, that I said, you can't just want your memory to improve, and it may or may not ever improve. Whether it does or doesn't, there are tools you can use to help your memory.
Correct, yeah.
And, it's just a matter of the discipline of putting those tools in place and using them. And I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor. I don't have a TBI. I don't know what it's like. But I know as far as my memory issues, if it's something important enough in my mind that I want to make sure I revisit it or don't forget it, then I have to put it down somewhere where I know I'm going to see it. And that's just...
We'll say you're a TBI caretaker.
Yes. You could say that. Not that you require really care, but...
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, thankfully, ish, I don't know. I know there are certain things I need to do so I remember things. Like different things I do have to write down or else it's gone. So yay, I've started to do that, but this was one of those things that I felt like I can't necessarily write them down. I just, like Guru being now in Atlanta, I think that's a big deal. It's like, in San Francisco, I was really involved in ALC, which aids life cycle, and it's a donation bicycle ride, and it's awesome to have him just ride up the road.
But why is that something you can't write down?
But how could I access it? Or
I mean, you can, I've said before, I wish there was an app or some sort of notes that you could take for your life that make it easy to find something. And it could be, like Excel spreadsheet is the only thing that comes to mind for me right now. Or you could have a group and it's just like San Francisco contacts. And you can pull that up and it'll have a list, and under that list would be Guru, and then there'd be under Guru now in Atlanta. Just something, that somewhere, if you're looking for something and that something, you remember it being in one spot, but it has now moved, whether it's to a location or to a different date or anything like that, you go to where it was, where you remember where it was.
Yeah.
And then that note tells you the new place to go.
Yep. Well, that is true. And I'm like, hey, what a great thing to do. Well, I've been talking about doing this app, but now fleshing out like more of what could help. So, oopsie.
Yeah, because a lot of times notes themselves aren't enough, or they're too convoluted, or there's just too much
like this,
right? And there's a way. I mean, there's got to be a way that works for you to get them organized where you can find whatever it is you're looking for.
Yes.
And not where they're just scattered everywhere. Writing it down is not the trick. Writing it down to be able to go back to where you wrote it down.
Yep.
That's what you have to focus on.
Okay. I'm going to write this down.
Go right ahead.
Yep.
Will you be able to find it later?
That's the thing.
That's fine if not.
Find information. Oh, gosh. I say this because, well, for those who don't know, I used to be a software engineer. I would build apps. So.
Well, there you go.
Ish.
Okay, so some more quotes from people who have had brain injuries. Okay, who have suffered a brain injury. One person said, "You have no idea how much effort I have to put into all that I do."
Are you done?
That's it.
See,
yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to get... Okay, I have no idea how much effort I have to put into what I do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, like there were so many times that I've come home, I've just gone to Walmart, and I come back and I'm like, Paul, I am exhausted. That's all I did. Just take my golf cart, go down the street, and come back.
And what have I told you? Or reminded you of? And this is something else I found in relation to that. A healthy person, and by healthy I mean not having suffered any sort of brain injury, has on average, and this has been a study that's been done, and has on average 10 to 15 usable hours per day that they can get stuff done, whether it's at work, running errands, taking care of the kids, the house, whatever responsibilities they might have. 10 to 15 is about how long people can push and get the job done.
Yeah.
However, people who have suffered a traumatic brain injury, 5 hours.
Really?
Yeah, so anywhere from up to half or a third of a non-brain injury person, a person with a brain injury, on average has 5 usable hours per day, and they have reached their limit, and they're just wiped, they're out, they're gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a thing.
Man.
And a lot of it is because there is extra effort required on your part to do things. I know, like if we've gone to the mall or something with Lucy, I'll remind Lucy, not that she ever complains or says anything, but I'll tell her, just in walking, Aubrey uses more energy with walking than what we do, and therefore gets tired before we do.
So you tell her that?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I'm not making excuses for you or anything. I just want Lucy to be aware, because you look, I hate to say the word, but you look normal. And that's a big complaint a lot of times for...
Hey, Melanie.
Hey, Melanie. For a TBI patient, if there's no scars, yeah, I present normal. Yeah. But it's what's going on in my head. And I know a lot of times, it's easy to forget that some things for you are a struggle. So, I try to remind Lucy. I read another quote that said, telling someone with a brain injury to hurry up or do something faster or be quicker about this or speak up or enunciate is like telling a person with 2 broken legs to run faster. It just can't be done.
Yeah. Gosh, no, that is good. I'm like, even, even back to Lucy, I'm like, I never knew that you told her that walking tires me out. I'm like, I mean, it does, but I'm like, wow, that's very thoughtful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but I mean, and I want
er,
Lucy to understand that, and it's not just with you. I mean, there'll be other people that are involved in her life, or that she comes in contact with, that may have an issue that she's not aware of, and I just want her to be able to stop and think, okay, maybe there is a reason that they're behaving this way,
yeah.
and it's not the person, it's the illness, whatever they might have going on. So I just wanted to be aware. Is in this further vein, I read it takes up to 5 times more energy for a person with a brain injury to complete even the most simple task than it does with a person without.
Really?
So you are burning up energy like crazy, which is no wonder at the end of the day you're just tired, and you don't think you've done a lot.
Correct. Yeah. And
it's
I
not
will say that I get so frustrated because I'm like, what did I even do today? Nothing. Like,
well, that's what it feels like, that you've done nothing. But whatever thing you have done, you have burned so much more energy to accomplish it that, yeah, understandably, you are tired.
gosh, it's so funny. I mean, it's not funny, but I mean, to me, I'm like, it's just blowing me away because I'm like, oh, once again, my wife knows more about my brain injury than I know.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I do like to read. So, all right, here's one. Can you relate to this? Okay.
Okay.
This is, again, another brain injury person. My brain injury is like everything is cluttered, stored, and shoved away in a cabinet. And then at times it gets opened and all the clutter falls out.
Gosh. Yeah. Well, firstly, being the neat freak you are. Oh, hey, Nor.
Hey, Nor, how are you?
Yep.
And I'm talking about the cluttering and the storage is your head, okay?
Yes.
Okay, because you were going to the neat freak route, so I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
No,
so.
I was just saying, because she happens to be a neat freak, or I don't even like to say that. She is very neat and put together, organized. I am very thankful I was one of that, because I know that is not me. But, yeah, wait, what was the first part of that?
Okay. My brain injury is like everything is cluttered, stored, and shoved away in a cabinet. In my brain, right? Cabinet being the brain.
Correct.
And then at times it gets opened and all the clutter falls out.
Yes, okay.
It's like a big dump of information all of a sudden.
Correct. So, unfortunately, yeah, that is something that I do think a lot. And I'm like, try to keep it all in there, or,
Yeah, I know a lot of times at night when you can't go to sleep, and it's because your mind's just going 90 to nothing. So is that what this is, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is this just you overthinking?
Just me. Well, I know overthinking because I had a hard time going to bed even before, but I think it's expounded or exponential now.
Right. Okay.
Because of that. Wow. I'm like, we could just stop and I could think about this for a while, but hey, we're sharing too.
Exactly. Okay. All right. And this is just a comment a person made that has a brain injury, and it's exactly what I thought of you when I first met you and heard your story.
Really?
Yeah. And this person said, I think creating my new life and a new me after a brain injury is the most badass thing I have ever done.
Wow. So somebody says that they think they're a badass for doing it?
Right.
Okay. Oh, and let's see, Melanie. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, wait, that was that. No. In life, I've learned to pay attention to what I am filling my mind with because that's what flows back into the world. You got that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so keep the negative out. You know, my ex used to just think the worst possible scenarios we had when we had our own business, like somebody was trying to take advantage of us, or not going to pay their invoice, and I would tell him, leave the negative out, because and it's like Melanie's saying. I mean, I think not only does it flow out, but it comes right back at you again, and I think a lot of times even worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep all that out of your head.
Yeah. Well, and that is true. So.
And then Nora had a comment too.
Oh, yep. There we go. So I'm overthinking too. I think it's common for brain injury. Let's get there.
You did that before? Were you an overthinker before?
Yes, I was. So
now it's even worse.
Yeah. So, and then Melanie says, so true, best advice first. Think of best case scenario, not just worst case.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Mom was a fatalist like that. She always thought the worst. Yeah. Harry, my ex, I mean, his became so bad about how he always thought people were going to be. I said, are you really that negative, or are you projecting how you would behave?
Yeah.
Is it a tell-all of who you really are?
Yeah.
That you don't trust these people?
Yeah.
Just give them a chance,
Right, yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. Keep the negative out. There's just too much negative in the world for any of that.
Well, that is true. Yep, very true.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was that question again? Or I don't think I answered that.
Oh, about the badass?
Oh, yeah. Oh, or should I give you an answer? So,
yeah.
Oh, yep. Well, many. Oopsie.
Yeah, they certainly try. Or
people project on. Yes.
Yeah, because they don't want to be that person. They don't want to come to the realization they are that person.
Yep.
So it's other people that are that way.
That is true.
It's them. Yeah.
Yep. But how should I answer this? Ish? Like,
you don't think you're a badass?
Well, there are times, it's kind of one of those comes and goes, that there are times where I'm like, you know what? That's freaking awesome. But then there are times, like past couple days, I'm like, I'm an idiot. How could I have forgotten this?
But you got right back up again, right? You didn't quit.
Well, that is true. Don't quit life,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that has gone through what you've gone through, what Nora's going through, and come out on the other side, to me, is a badass. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah. Well,
not many people could go through that experience and come out loving life.
Yeah.
Appreciating life.
Well, yeah.
Appreciating themselves.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I have said. I'm very thankful for, for life and for people in life. Like, it's a big deal. So, but yeah, it's a big deal, and that's what I want to remember and stay, like, stay on the forefront of my mind. I'm like, you know what? We're surrounded by good people. It's a good moment, like capture the moment, the whole thing. But how do you choose to react to this moment? So that is one thing I'll say, yep, I'm a badass in that regard, because I'm like, I've had some crazy stuff happen, but you know what? Got my mic and camera and I'm trying to do something, So, and I do believe I'll get better over time. Yeah, it was just this one thing in particular just kicked me in the teeth.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Memory thing?
Yeah.
And it's such a say it's a small thing. I can see where it would be an aggravating thing. I forget things too. Maybe not on the level that you do. But also I write down a lot.
Yeah.
And it's the only way. And part of it is just I'm so organized and meticulous that, that's just how I would do it regardless. That's just my personality.
Yeah. Well, but you have seen I write in the morning and at night, and I even have my, what do you call it? My,
Yeah, your wallet where you can make notes. And that, but still, yes, that goes back to what I was saying though. Writing it down is fine and is great.
yeah,
Writing, I think, helps with your recovery process. But if it's something you need to find in the future, how easy is that going to be? Like I know years and years ago, I worked for an insurance broker, and every day I had a notebook. So every day, anytime I was on the phone, I was constantly making notes of conversations that I had. I was a lot younger. So if something ever came up 2 to 3 weeks prior to, I could visualize that page in my brain where I had made a note about a specific conversation.
yeah,
And then I could go back and easily find it. Now, not so much as I've gotten older.
yeah,
So that's why I'm saying your notes are fine, but if it's something that you need to go back and revisit for a reminder or whatever the case may be, it needs to be set up in a way that you can find that information without struggling to get to it.
yes, that is true.
So, okay, so this is another person who, and none of these people, these are all anonymous, or I would share names. None of them did. And this one's a little bit longer, but this was what they had to say. Because I notice you do this. And that's, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah,
Okay. I wish people knew that I didn't discuss my brain injury for pity, sympathy, or attention.
yeah,
I wish people knew that I talk about it because it's a huge part of my life, whether I want it to be or not. I discuss it to help others who are dealing with the same hurdles, to inform, to educate, to explain, not to get pitied, babied, or fawned over. Certainly not to be looked down upon or judged.
yeah. That is kind of a big thing, and that's why for so long, I mean, I did not do anything because I'm like, oh hell no. Like I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna go. But then, well, when did I even start this? Like, well, I started this, like us talking, like, what, 2 months ago or
something like that, yeah.
So, but that was my thing. I don't want to be, oh, poopy, floppy, I'm like, no. Like, there's plenty of people making videos and are way better, But you know what? I looked for things when I was in the hospital, 5 years ago. I was in there for 4 months. For 4 months. Well, 1 month. I didn't really know what was going on. Could not remember. But, I mean, I could find nothing. Thankfully, it's better now, but I'm like, I said then, you know what? I'm going to do something. So I'm not all healed. I thought I would wait until that point, but I was like, all right, well, I'm starting now. So.
Well, I think a lot of it, too, the talking about it, whether it's on this platform. I mean, a lot of times you do it even in a retail setting or, when we meet new people. A lot of times I think when you're doing that, the way I perceive it, and it could be completely off base, is you feel like, or you sense, maybe, I don't know, that maybe people will judge you, that they will see something different. So you're quick to point out, like if someone asks your phone number and you give it out and you're always like, yeah, I could remember that when I was in my coma.
Yeah.
And to me, it comes across, and I may be way off base, but it's like you're thinking, oh my God, they've noticed something about me. They think I don't talk right or something. So I make this comment to justify that this is how I am now. Does that make sense?
Well, and many people make videos, but many people are not you. That is right. So, okay, when I make comments, is it because people think?
Because you think people.
I think people think.
Right.
Well, yes. Actually, yes, because, and it stems back to the whole, like, if you don't have any physical scars or, what do you call them? Like, there's nothing physically necessarily wrong with me.
It's
I'm
an
like,
invisible
I
disability
talk weird. Like,
to you.
well, yeah, so that I do. Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you do it? I mean, do you feel like it's necessary, or are you just wanting, and I don't want to say the word excuse, but that's what it comes across sounding like. That you're
Okay.
trying to make an excuse for, hey, I don't have, mentally, I'm competent,
Yeah.
but I had an accident, and this is why I might talk funny or walk funny. Your words, not mine. You say that often.
Yep. Yep. Yes, I do. Well, and your mic cut out, so I don't think anybody. But anyways, like I think really sometimes I just think it's funny. I'm
Right.
like the last four digits of my number 1111. Awesome. There's a reason I decided to keep that number. You know, so go back and forth. I mean, yeah.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yes.
It just saddens me that you would ever feel like you have to give that out
And you're
because
sweet
it's
like
not
that.
necessary.
Yeah, well, and that's something I'm still trying to work through, live
Right.
through.
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it. I get it. I mean, I can't, I'm sure I'd be the same way or even worse. I'd probably just shut down and be done. But I do notice it.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, yeah. See, I'm glad you appreciate it too. Your last four digit number, 1111. Yes. I'm like, dude, I've kept that number since I lived in Boulder. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it. And then I was on San Francisco, so my software, when I was a software engineer, my company paid for my phone, and they had it. So it took me a while to get it back, if that makes sense. After, anyways, yes.
All right, and this is kind of like an analogy, and this person uses, first and foremost, a brain injury is an illness. I mean, there was a physical trauma to the brain, but now it becomes an illness because of everything that happens within the brain after hitting your head or an operation or whatever.
Oh, that is.
Jason, how are you doing?
Well,
Holly's husband.
yeah. Oh, way there.
Yeah, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
So this person's analogy is, and it goes back to like energy levels or just how you're, that this is an illness. And this person said that sometimes you can just go 90-0 and get a lot of stuff done. And you just, and in those circumstances, it's like you're just floating on water. Everything's smooth. You can hold yourself up. You can power through and get things done.
Yeah.
And then another example is times when you feel like you're now treading water.
Yeah.
You're not floating. It's a little bit of a struggle. And they give an example of you give fakes, you really push yourself to attend a social event. You're tired, but you don't want to go. I'm busy working for the man.
Gosh. Yep.
We all do here in America, right?
Yep. See, you're doing it.
And then the third analogy to the brain injury illness is some days it's just a struggle to get up and take a shower. And at those moments, and that's just an example of taking a shower, but those moments, you just feel like you're drowning. Mm-hmm. So basically to cap it up, or to summarize it, what they're saying is with this illness, there are days that things are just on an even keel. You're floating, everything's fine. There are circumstances that come up that you feel like you're just fighting to be in that moment. It's a struggle. And then other situations come up and you're done. You're out. sinking fast.
Yeah. So do I ever experience those?
Yes.
I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, how do you even, like, yes. There are so many times I come back in here and say, I have not done anything today. I'm so tired. Or I'm like, what? But then there are times when I will be so, like, honed in on my thing that Paula can't even get my attention.
Right. Yeah, that happens a lot. So it's almost like a either or. Either you're just going or you're done.
Yes. That's oh great. I'm like, that's not exciting to say. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm either 100 or 0. Like,
But does that bother you?
yes, it aggravates me.
Why?
Because, well, I want to spread it out, be normally focused, not like hardcore, but granted that is a little ish of me. How I am. Is it obsessive? No, I'm just like focused in, and I'm like, this is all I see.
Tunnel vision, kind of.
Yeah, very much like that. But so the whole entire thing, no, that drives me nuts. I'm like, I can definitely kick back and relax. I like to. That's why I try to tell you. But no, I would rather be in more even keel.
All day long. Because I don't even operate on that. I am full throttle, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
And some days I can go. Sometimes, and mine a lot of times is weather related. I really, my mood depends so much on sunshine.
Yeah.
And if we have a week of rain, then I generally have a week where I'm not getting much accomplished because I just feel like the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then if it's sunny for 2 weeks in a row, I almost kill myself because I just stay so busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really operate on an even kill either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and I don't know that most people do.
Yeah. Well, and that maybe can go back to the I think they do, or normal people, and I'm not a normal person.
Well, then neither am I.
I know.
And I don't think I want to be.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
All right, here's something. See what you think about this. A brain injury is a puzzle. All the pieces are there, but in the wrong order.
Yeah. Can you put them all together? I don't know.
With scissors. I've done puzzles.
Oh, with scissors.
You just cut them to fit, or a little mallet. You can bang them. Yeah. There are ways to make it work.
Yep. Oh, there are ways that it can be done.
There's always a way around something.
Yep.
And I'm not saying an easy way. It's not always an easy way. Sometimes there is, but sometimes not.
Yep. Well, true.
All right, another one. Brain injury is learning to live in a brain that sometimes feels like it belongs to a stranger.
Gosh. Okay, having a brain injury, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like living in a brain that belongs to someone else?
Yeah.
Ish. Like, because at first, very much so. I mean, I've kind of learned ish. How do I say learn? I know that it's mine now, if that makes sense.
So initially it was like a stranger's brain.
Oh, yeah. Initially, I'm like, I can usually recall very quickly, or I can do this, I can do that, I can remember things.
Going back to your good, solid memories in the hospital, going through therapy, do you remember specifically when it was that you realized my brain doesn't work like it used to? And was there a specific moment, or was it a gradual realization during your recovery?
Oh,
It's like, let me give an example, okay? A burn victim.
Yeah.
Let's say their face gets horribly disfigured.
Yeah.
They're all wrapped up in bandages.
Yeah.
So they're assuming they're not probably going to look the same, but then the bandages come off, and there's that exact moment that, oh my God, that's not me looking back in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment like that after your accident?
Oh man, it's hard to say because, well,
Is it more difficult because it is the brain and it's just constantly working and realizations are coming and going throughout the entire time, or?
well, honestly, I can say I don't know. Oh, and let's see what Norris is. For me, my brain injury is like a bucket full of holes, and all my knowledge has escaped. So
This coming from a woman that speaks at least 2 languages.
I'm like, yeah, she speaks multiple languages.
Right.
I'm
English
like,
better than we do.
yeah, yes. I'm like, dude, she's off the chain awesome.
So, yeah.
But yeah, you feel like,
If you've got holes, you've been busy filling them up over the years. Because the knowledge is there for sure.
yes.
And the same with you. It's there. It might take a little bit longer sometimes to retrieve it.
Well, and this is something that I've noticed, and you told me about it, but I was worried, like, about my hearing. I was thinking it was getting bad, and then you said what?
I said, I think you hear me. I feel certain that you hear me. I think when you say, what did you say, or could you repeat that, or, it's giving yourself, while I'm repeating, you're not tuned in at that point, you're giving yourself to process what you heard the first time so you can then engage in whatever it was I either asked or said.
Yes, and that is true. It's like I finally realized, because I had an instance that happened last week where I was driving around my go-kart, and this young teenager yelled something. I'm like, what's he saying? He's probably saying something bad. But then I let him come up and pass me, and he yelled it out, and again, he was like, nice neck tattoo. I'm like, oh, man, I thought he was saying something bad. But then I was like, is it because I couldn't hear, or I just couldn't comprehend? I'm like, oh. But yeah, so
It's hard to tell. I know with me, I have a difficult time hearing, and a lot of it is because I have constant ringing in my ears that never stops. So if something's being said to me at a volume that's lower than the ringing, I'm not going to hear it.
yeah.
Or the same pitch as the ringing, it doesn't exist. I don't hear it at all. I'm just can't make it out. So sometimes I can hear enough words that I could answer a question or engage in the conversation. Sometimes I can just get bits of the words that are being spoken and can't pull them together enough to know how to respond that I don't sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you see, and this is where I think we're both very common, is that people don't think about these things.
Right.
Like you have tonight, Slat. I would never even think all the time about ringing in my ears. You don't complain about it. You never say anything about it.
Because there's nothing that can be done about it. So
and yeah,
you
it
just
blows
live with
my
it.
mind. But same thing, yeah, with me trying to figure out something, I'm like, I mean, who says I hate it? But it is what it is. Like, but that's the thing. Well, of course, I chime on and say, what are you going to do about it? Like, what am I going to do about it? So, man, yeah.
Another person said that brain injury is like thinking with speed bumps.
Thinking with speed bumps.
Yeah. So maybe it slows you down a little bit, because that's the purpose of a speed bump, is to make sure you're not speeding, obviously.
There it is.
But I think we all need speed bumps in our brains.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times am I cutting out, or I just can't? I can't turn my head.
Well, here
I can do like Teddy and just cut the eyes like that.
Well,
and look at you.
I'm sorry. I will work
That hurts my head when I do that.
Guess.
And then Mom said they'd get stuck.
Oh gosh.
So, all right. This one.
worse is
Oh man, I do that a
when I forget
lot.
something someone told me, I always said, no one told me about it. I even swear.
See, now I do that
See?
with.
Oh, gosh.
I'm doing my eyes now. See, I'm looking at Aubrey.
Turn your head. See, thanks, Nora, help me out.
But see, I take Nor's. Go back to scroll up so I can see this one. When she forgets something,
Yeah,
she was not told.
yeah.
Like I'll do with you, I'll say, but I told you, don't you remember? Because I know you're not going to.
Oh, so now you've revealed your secrets. I'm like,
But you'll forget. So you're not writing that down, so you'll forget about it. So I'm good.
I'll just be like, nope, didn't tell me. And you will try to use my brain injury against me.
I do. I mean, it's you and Lucy use my hearing against me all the time.
Gotta use something.
See, it's just what you do.
Mm.
All right, this one's a little bit deeper, maybe. Do you miss who you were?
Wow. Do I miss who I was?
And or do you feel like you're someone different? I mean, we're all different throughout our whole lives because there's constant change going on as you learn and grow.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And I'm like, damn, oopsie. Oh, well. So it's a lot to think about. The second one, oh, wait, there's two questions.
That was just one question.
Do you feel like you're different? Yes, I do feel like I'm different.
I'm talking about like a different person.
Well, ish. Like, I do feel like I'm very much different. Like, back and forth. So there are times that I miss who I was. Like, I mean, oh gosh.
What part of it is it? What part of the old you is it that you miss? When you say you miss, you got the cursor right on your face. I know they can't see that, but I can.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so this is a hard-ish. I mean, this is a hard question.
I know. That's why I asked it.
Actually, I'm gonna say something. What do you call it? Maybe controversial, but I like who I am now. I prefer this. I believe that my accident, as terrible as it is, I'm thankful for it. Wait, Aubrey, what? Yes, I'm thankful. I was anxiety-ridden mess. I mean, I was a mess. I was always worried. What's going to happen? Am I going to get fired? Am I going to this? Am I going to that?
So you're much more relaxed now.
Oh, gosh, there's no comparison. And I met you, my wife, my love, like, and you get me, which, yeah, I hadn't had. But anyways, like, how do you say? I'm gonna sound like a jerk-ish, but I'm like, I have an experience now. It's where I'm like, you know what? I appreciate right now. I appreciate this. I appreciate you.
Because you understand how quickly all of that can be lost.
Yes, it's just, see, I can't snap with that finger, but there we
Oh,
go.
we did it on time.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it on time.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, and I've experienced, what it's like to have it all gone in a second. I wouldn't have chose, oh, yeah, let me have an accident and become disabled. Because I work like hell to go back. But, so yes, I used to miss who I was very much. I wanted my old life back. I wanted to move to San Francisco. I was only going to stay in Peachtree City 6 months and go back.
So you missed your old life, not so much. So you, personality-wise, I mean, you didn't really change, right? Because some people, after an accident and with a brain injury, and I think they even mentioned it to your family, could be very mean when they come out of a coma.
Yep.
I mean, a complete different personality change.
That was funny. Yeah, they told my friend Chelsea and Tito, they're like, she could be mean when she wakes up. Yeah. So they were like all warned before I woke up and everything.
So your
Thankfully, it didn't
personality has
happen.
remained intact.
Ish.
You're just
Yeah.
calmer
Oh, a hell of a lot calmer.
and
So,
less filtered.
correct. Yes. Good or bad, but
And I wonder, now saying less filtered, you know, when the neurologist said you had the brain of a 50-something-year-old after your injury,
yeah.
right? Because I am much less filtered than I was 20 years ago. And it's just because I'm older.
Yeah.
And I just don't give a rip anymore. I'm not going to do anything to hurt somebody's feelings or to hurt anybody. But if I feel like I need to speak my mind about something or make a point, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas like Lucy would not. And I
Yeah.
think it's just a difference in she's not experienced enough life yet to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is a very good point because, I mean, I feel like even I was, what do you call it, a late bloomer, we could say. Like, I was behind the game. So I felt like when
You were what again? See, I missed that. You were what again?
a late bloomer.
And then you said I was something again.
Oh.
You said blonde.
Oh, not blonde. No, I tried that a few times. No. But anyways, so I was just like 10 years behind, I feel like. But then I feel like after my accident, I'm 10 years ahead. Like, not only behind, not only where I am, but I'm ahead.
So maturity-wise, you're talking about 10 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, maturity, experience, like, a lot of stuff. Like, so, but I'm happy about it. I think it's awesome. You know?
Yeah, and I went through a lot of crap the past 20 years that definitely has made me more outspoken.
Yeah.
That had I not had things just remained as they were, maybe I wouldn't be. I don't know.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like all the experiences that you come across, like, how do you turn them or use them?
Right. Either you use them to your advantage or you let them just squash you.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Final thought here. And this is something you bring up from time to time to me.
Yeah. Yep. What?
Is you are not a burden. These are not my words, but I like these words. Okay. I don't want to give myself undue credit. You are not a burden. You have a burden. Your brain injury.
Wow.
Which by definition.
Say that again.
Oh, go ahead.
And nor says Aubrey, maybe it's a weird question. It is not. But do you dream after your injury?
Only of me.
There we go. No, I'm trying to think. Oh, well, yes, I remember in the hospital-ish a dream, but that was like, whoa, Aubrey's cray-cray. So I'll talk to you about that, but I don't dream as frequently, if that makes sense. And it gives me a funny face. Like,
That's because you dream of me.
well, yes, I just dream of Paula. No, I wish I did. But yeah, usually, yeah, I'm just out. Like, I do not remember.
Because like last night, I had a dream. Jessica Lange was in it.
Really?
And we were in the American Horror Story world. I mean, it wasn't like I was having like this sexual fantasy of Jessica Lange, but we were like, I guess, I don't know. Oh, Nor dreams of me too? Is that what she said?
Are you saying that, Nor? Gosh. Yeah.
So anyway, so you do still dream, you think?
Oh,
did I not say that? Do you still dream, you think?
gosh. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't remember them. And so there's that.
So I wonder if not remembering them is like a memory issue, or is it just like supposedly people dream all the time. It's just you don't remember the majority of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what my dream was about last night. I just know the two of us were with Jessica Lang in Coven. That's all I remember.
Really? Wow. Man, well, that's
And we didn't die.
Oh, even better.
Right.
Yep.
So, okay.
So, and what was that again?
All right. This is the last thing here. And this was, I think, kind of, because I think you feel this way sometimes. And I try to tell you, no, you're wrong. But it's because of your brain injury. Okay. You are not a burden. You have a burden, which is the brain injury. And a burden, by definition, is too heavy to carry on your own.
Wow. That's good. So I'm not a burden. I have a burden, which is my brain injury.
Correct.
It's too heavy to carry by myself. See, and that I'm definitely going to write on my board because I need to hear that because that's what I'm terrified of. Is I don't want to be a burden to Paul. I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I want to do myself.
Well, I mean, think of it like this. I mean, because you have a brain injury and it is an illness. You know, because when I was caring for Mom, she had an illness. I mean, she had Lewy body dementia. And she required a lot of care because of it. And yes, it was difficult. And yes, life was hell a lot of times because of it. Stressful emotionally, physically, mentally, everything. But it wasn't a burden because it was something that Mom was dealing with as well that was difficult for her. So it was just, it's just what was there that you have to take care of. And Mom, what Mom had, she couldn't handle on her own. There's no way she could. Yeah. It was a heavy burden. So I was there, you were there, Lucy was there to all help her with that burden. And it's the same with the brain injury.
Yeah. See, this is going to give me a lot to think about. And hopefully you do.
So that's all. I mean, I've got a lot of other stuff, but this was all I did because I knew this would take up. I'm sorry, I knew this would take up a while, so
Yeah.
I just did this.
Yeah. Well, that is good. Like, man, I'm blown away. It's going to be spark a few more conversations or something.
And I'll work up our therapy bill for you too. So.
Wow. Our therapy bill? I have to pay you?
Remember, I've got a PhD.
PhD, huh? What's that?
A doctorate of Google.
There you go.
You know, I did take that opportunity when I was up in Philly. I forgot where we were or what we were doing, but I had to sign something, and I signed it Paula L. Robinson, PhD.
PhD, God.
See, and I keep forgetting. I need to remember to keep doing that. But yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, there we go. Well, thank you so much for hanging around and listening to us talk. And, oh, yeah, hey there. So, like me, I don't remember them or I don't dream. See? Good. We are the same. So now I got that. Man. So anyway, sorry. It is that time. Well, we got 1 minute. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will definitely have some more, but let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
Or topics to be discussed.
Yep. We'd like to do that. But most of all, remember, you matter. Your story matters. And you belong here. Cheers.
Have a good day, people.